What's up, people of YouTube? I'm Karsatowski and welcome to the Karsatowski Bowling YouTube channel. So for today's PBA bowling breakdown, I am going to be breaking down the 1992 BPAA US Open. So let's get on to the title match. So this is the title match, the championship match of Scott Devers versus Robert Lawrence. And I am not familiar with any of these two players at all. So let's see Robert Lawrence's first shot. Pretty solid game. Has a kind of weights on his backswing a little bit. Has that nice follow through. Number 1 seed Scott Devers. Averaged 225 this week. Lefty versus righty. Nice break on the 7-pin. So it looks like he's one of those players who doesn't use his balance arm at all. Very interesting. All right. He has a wrist guard, but it's not one of those standard blue ones that looks like it really restricts the movement of your wrist. Yeah, he basically has his balance arm at the side of his hip the entire time, and that was a perfect shot on that left lane.
Now the bad boy of the PBA Tour. He likes that nickname. He's really a nice guy. Needs to throw a strike to keep this match even. The gunslinger, huh? You bet. Good match game player.
Nice shot. Ooh, that skates a little bit and gets can opener strike. It's a good shot there. Okay, so opening double for both these players. At this time, they basically just use like a bathroom towel for to wipe off their ball. You didn't really have a whole lot of fancy microfiber towels at this time anyway. Oh, flat 10. That definitely could have struck. Yeah, Robert Lawrence's game reminds me of a few different players. His backswing kind of reminds me a little bit of probably like a Dan McClelland, kind of a high backswing and pretty good follow through, I guess. Follow through, I don't really know who he reminds me of though. He'll come to me.
Now has a double and a spare. Devers leads by 1, can increase it to 11. Shooting in the third frame of the title game, the US Open title.
Yep, as soon as his push away happens, his balance arm goes right beside him and pretty much goes out in his follow through like a typical follow through. Look at it from the back. Man, pretty short backswing overall. Hand gets onto the side, the typical PBA release back in the 90s. And he also leaves a flat corner pin, this one being the 7. So both bowlers remain even over 3 frames. And that ball that he's using looks kind of similar to an IQ 78U, although I think it's a different shade of red, I'm pretty sure, than IQ 78U. Looks very similar to one though.
Match is even through 3 frames. Championship.
Okay, that's a nice can opener. So both players have very similar ball reaction at different parts of the lane. And it looks like his arm swing goes a little bit out and then it comes back in. And that right there is a typical US Open trophy. I think all US Open trophies need to look like that. Okay, we're all even through 4 frames.
2 victories coming into the championship against the tournament leader, Scott Devers.
Perfect shot. Perfect shot.
Watch the action of
Got a top view of this, it looks like. Now playing a little bit inside that. Break point looks to be about maybe the 3 board. Great shot right there. That's probably about a solid 18.5 miles an hour. Gets it to the pocket nicely. Both players are matching each other in the first third of the game. That was a little bit inside. Probably could have gotten it out a little bit more. He might even decide to move a little bit to the right, possibly to get that ball to read the dry part a little bit sooner. That's back-to-back flat 10s on that left lane. Okay, let's see if Scott Devers can figure out the right lane, because he left a flat 7 on his last shot. Man, he started off at 123rd in the first round, and basically was in no less than the top 30 from round 2 on. And we've seen players make big jumps like that at the US Open. And Scott gets his ball real high. I'm pretty fortunate to kick out the 610.
Yeah, a couple of years ago I built a new house and I decided to put a short.
Man, it's this kind of awkward look directly at the camera interview in between frames.
I just go downstairs, I throw a few shots, work on my practice, my timing, and it seems to work for me.
short lane, about a 17-foot approach and a 30-foot lane.
My goodness sakes. Look at that. Yeah, that ball sure reacted like an IQ 78U, for sure. If you get a ball like that to the dry too soon, it just basically hooks at your toes. Dadgum. Yeah, your ball reaction can get pretty wonky with stuff like that. That might not be where he wants to go. If he wants to go for count, do what he just did there. But if he wanted to go for it, I think it would have been better for him to try to slide that 4-pin into the 610. And that is a big opening for his opponent.
In the last 4 years, the amateurs have averaged 19 pins less than the pros.
Now Robert Lawrence can get up and continue to strike on this right lane.
So interesting and a good week for the league players against the pros.
Oh, goes touch high for a 4-pin. He's looked good on that lane, and he just needs to make a few micro adjustments on that lane. Needs a tournament win to qualify for the Firestone Tournament of Champions.
Would have a nice 4-pin lead.
I don't know if the Tournament Champions fell right after the US Open this year. I don't know. It's at this time it is probably in a few weeks.
What do you do when you've never won a major? You need to qualify for the Firestone.
Yeah, the Tournament of Champions has always been a, basically if you have won a title, you get to be in the Tournament of Champions. I don't know when they instituted the regional. Okay, that's a great shot to figure out that left lane. So I don't know when they had instituted if you've ever won a regional title that you can get into the PTQ. I don't know when they instituted that. And that's the top 4 money leaders of all time, and that's the top 5 money leaders of all time. And Loto Monticelli just recently got into the top 10 of all time. And Scott leaves himself another 7-pin. Yeah, it's interesting. They were basically right at 10 bowlers who have reached $1 million in their career earnings at this time. Nowadays, I think there are 51 or 52 millionaires on the PBA Tour. E.J. Tackett had recently this season surpassed $2 million. So he is, I think, Gosh, and I think there's about, I think there are 10 bowlers who've reached $2 million in their careers. But at this point, I think there's probably about like 50-something who've reached $1 million in their careers. And I think Jesper Svensson, if not already, is pretty close to $1 million in his career. And Scott Devers has pretty much lost that left lane. Made kind of a similar shot and left everything the same except for the 4-pin. So he's going to have to make a big adjustment. 7th place at the Sacramento Open, so this is his best finish of this year.
Robert Lawrence, who is up and ready to go, leads by 6-10.
Well, Robert Lawrence at this point can strike on this shot to pretty much force Scott Devers to essentially strike out to have any kind of chance. Or at least strike out in the 9th and the first 2 shots in the 10th frame. That ball skates wide, okay. Yeah, that ball was pretty far wide, maybe touched too much ball speed. Kind of lucky to only leave the 2-pin here.
Then he thinks it's going to be a 2-7 split. He's hoping it strikes again.
Yeah, that had a chance to kick it out. That probably kicks out the 2-pin about 50-50. Okay, so Robert Lawrence is still up by 6, so he needs to strike in the 9th frame. And that'll basically make Scott Devers pretty much get at least the next 3 strikes to force Robert Lawrence to get the first strike in the 10th frame. So this is an important shot. The Bluegrass Stakes. Okay, that. So this is probably like in March or something like that. And that's a perfect shot. The Bluegrass Stakes usually takes place, I think, in like March.
What you build for in a professional career?
It's up to Devers to answer.
All right, Scott Devers pretty much needs this hit over here to give himself a chance.
It's going to take strikes to win this one. 9th frame.
Oh my goodness. Now he needed that break a little sooner. His ball pretty much did the same thing that it's been doing on that left lane. So the left lane for him has been pretty suspect over the last 2 shots. He's gone high both times, and he needs to make some kind of an adjustment here to make sure that he does not do the same thing, because he needs them all. Oh, okay, that was a good adjustment. I don't know exactly what he did, but that was a pretty good adjustment that he needed to make. Now he can get another strike on this shot and good count to pretty much force Robert Lawrence to get the first strike in the 10th.
By 4 can extend that lead to 14 with 1 additional strike here in the 10th frame, but he cannot shut out Lawrence. No matter what happens, Lawrence has the chance to determine his own destiny.
There's Lawrence. Devers 4th in last year's major Firestone.
Perfect shot. Nothing left in the pit after that shot. Okay, now Robert knows that he needs to figure out to get a strike.
He has won other titles. This is his first chance at a major.
Robert, he only has, well, he's got 50-50 on that left lane.
And now he's done what he's had to do here in the championship game. It'll all be up to Robert Lawrence.
Oh, ring 7. Well, that's what he needed. Scott Devers did what he needed in 9th and 10th frames.
For this man,
That's all you could ask for.
Richmond, Indiana.
Right now, Robert Lawrence needs a strike 2 times.
All right, Robert Lawrence needs 2 strikes and 4
This
pins
ball,
to win.
he cannot win.
Oh, man, I thought that was going to go high. Dad gum. Yeah, I thought that shot was just
One of the 3 measures, along with the PBA national
going to leave probably a 4 pin behind,
2 weeks from
but it
today.
didn't.
Very
So he made the correct adjustment as well. So both players made the right adjustments at the best time.
This is the one that will allow him to
Scott
be
can't
the
even watch.
1992 U.S. Open champion or the runner-up. Must strike.
Go. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my goodness. Now, Robert's really glad that he wasn't bowling Pete Weber in this title match, or else his opponent would have had a much different reaction to that shot. And Scott is just defeated. I mean, I would feel completely defeated too if my opponent threw a decent shot and got a Brooklyn. Wow. Good grief. Oh my goodness. I can't believe it went Brooklyn because that shot didn't look too much different from the previous one. Oh my goodness. Wow. Goodness sakes, man. Shoo. Okay, now that was a good title match right there. Not terribly high scoring, but you know what? Both bowlers pretty much did what they needed to do in the 10th frame, and you know that Brooklyn is crazy. I've seen a lot of Brooklyns in a title match, but that one right there definitely ranks up there as probably one of the best, worst Brooklyns of all time. Anyway, so if you all would like to see any more bowling breakdowns, then be sure to hit that subscribe button down below so you'll never miss any of my videos. I'm Karsatowski. Keep watching my content, and I'll see you in that next video. See ya.